Welcome back to Soda City Live, everyone. We are in our favorite part of the studio, at least it's mine, the Soda City Live kitchen, where we are continuing to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, a culture filled with tradition, music, and of course, great food. Today on the show, we're bringing back our digital reporter and Hispanic Heritage Month correspondent, Mayra Perella Guerrero, a proud Afro-Latina of Spanish and Puerto Rican descent, here to show us a popular street food, Mayra.
Yes.
Empanadas.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me again.
So I know Mayra looks familiar. As I mentioned, you've been doing our WIS Hispanic Heritage Month commercials, talking about what makes the Hispanic culture so rich and how you can support and celebrate this month. But one of the things you talked about were empanadas, and your dad describes this dish as what?
As heaven and sazon.
Heaven and sazon. Alrighty, so I think we're all familiar with empanadas, but what is an empanada?
So an empanada is basically a fried turnover with whatever filling you want.
Mm-hmm.
How we did it in my household is we had ground beef with a lot of different spices. We like to put olives in ours,
Mm-hmm.
like chopped olives, and like I said, a bunch of different spices. As an adult, when I learned how to make them, I found that putting a little bit of cheese on them, it's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
So even though my parents do not approve of this twist,
so this is a little twist on a family recipe.
Yes, it is.
So we want to pull the ingredients so you can go ahead and take a picture of it in case you want to one day make the empanadas, the Perella Guerrero household recipe. So Mayra, what do we need to kick off this recipe?
So you're gonna have your stuffing.
Mm-hmm. Which is the ground beef, right?
With the ground beef, with the sazon, sofrito. I put a little bit of onion in there, cilantro, just a little, little spark in there.
Little salt bay
Little
action
salt bay
going on.
action, exactly. My cheese, just cheddar cheese for me. And then these are sold in, I usually get them in Spanish, Latin, grocery stores.
Yeah.
I know in Charlotte we have what we call compare, which is compare foods.
Yeah.
But you can find these in Publix.
And they're empanada discs.
Yeah, they're called empanada discs or dough, but they're shaped like discs, so that's what they call them.
Yeah.
And so basically what you do is you take a little bit of disc, you are careful of these are there because they get a little sticky.
They can get sticky. So do you set them out before? Should they be room temperature?
Yeah,
or
so you set them up before.
Okay.
You want them to be a little room temperature. They're usually in the coolers. So I'm gonna move this really quickly.
Alrighty, we'll move this over for you.
And so basically, you take the little disc, and we'll use this in a minute.
Okay.
And then you take your little stuffing. You can just take a little bit, just because it's such a small little disc, and I like to make sure it's covered in the middle.
You don't want to put too much, right?
You don't want to put too much because you overstuff them and then they fall apart.
Right, right.
And so once you do that, I take a little bit of cheese, just a little, because you don't want to overwhelm it because the meat is delicious and that's what you want. And so then you fold them in half. And so now there's a lot of debate about the right way of closing the edges. I'm just gonna do it how my daddy used to do it. And so you take a fork, the little teeth of the fork, and you kind of just press it together.
And just seal it, yeah.
And you just seal it. A lot of people just round it, but
But presentation is everything. It also makes it cute. Mayra, we have a few more minutes left. I want you to talk about what it means to you to be a part of the Hispanic culture and celebrating this month, and to be on this platform, being able to share more about your culture and educating people about all the amazing traditions, especially this household recipe of yours.
Yeah. Well, to me, honestly, it's amazing how immigrants come from another country. They leave their culture. They assimilate completely to the customs, the language, and they just make a life just to provide a better life for their family. I was fortunate enough that my parents, my dad is from Puerto Rico, so he was already an automatic citizen. And when he met my mom in Spain, there was not many issues there. But we moved out of Puerto Rico. We had to completely get used to a new culture, and it was a complete shock. And if that was such a complete shock to me, I can only imagine for thousands of people who do this just to provide their family a better life.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's very interesting and very important to share. And I just want to make sure that I share that with everyone. Because again, it's an amazing story. People do amazing things here. They start from zero and they have businesses. They go speak at stuff. Like, I mean, there's celebrities who come from parents of immigrants.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's something to be told and celebrated. And what better time to celebrate than Hispanic Heritage Month?
Hispanic Heritage Month. And during this month, how can the community overall support Hispanic Heritage Month?
Hispanic Heritage Month is a celebration for everyone, not just Hispanic people. I mean, obviously, it's about the contributions that Hispanic people have made in the U.S., but you can support our businesses. You can give us a platform, like, for example, like in shows and stuff, learn about our culture by taking a salsa class, taking a cooking class, doing little by little things that make you want to learn more about the Hispanic community and how you can support them, not just this month, but every other month.
Beyond this month, because Hispanic Heritage Month is until October 15th. But like Myra said, you can support beyond this month. I want you to give us the finishing details on how to make this empanada go from that to this.
Yes.
We have a little TV magic here, of course. So you're using canola oil.
Yes, I am. But you can use whatever oil you want. I mean, one time I did olive oil because I didn't have any more.
Yeah.
And so you make sure that it's on high and you just, boom.
Let's boom. Okay.
You just go ahead and let it cook. Depending on how hot the oil is, this one is really hot.
Yeah.
It'll take like maybe 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you want a perfect golden brown. You don't want it to be burnt, right?
You definitely want it just golden brown. A lot of people get a little nervous because they're like, oh, the inside is not cooked, but it should be already pre-cooked.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't worry about
So
that.
that makes it easier.
Definitely.
Now, you also said at the beginning, this can be a dish that can also be sweet as well.
Yes.
So if you wanted to do like a sweetened version of an empanada, what do you suggest filling it with?
So the only type of sweetened empanada that I have had was empanada with cream cheese, with like the sweet cream cheese. A lot of Puerto Ricans have it with guava, which is like a little spread made out of fruit. And then they have it with guava and cheese. There's people who experiment every day on how to make this because this is a blank canvas. This is just the outside for whatever it is that you're stuffing it with.
Yes.
And once it starts bubbling there, that's how you know the side is ready.
That's a pretty golden brown empanada. Well, we're going to wrap up. Myra, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
This is the finished product. Myra was so nice to go ahead and pre-fry us some empanadas, pre-make us some. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your family recipe. We want to pull those ingredients up once more so that you can go and buy the list, make your filling, make your empanadas, and then let us know how it turned out on social media. You can contact Myra and stay connected with her by, what's your social media handles?
So my social media handle on Facebook is just Myra Perella Guerrero. You can. My name is spelled in the bottom. I know it's a little mouthful, but that is my name. And that's the best way of contacting me. Or you can contact me on my work email, myra.guerrero@wisTV.com.
All right, perfect. Yes, let Myra know if you have something that you'll like for her to cover. She's also an amazing reporter who's been doing some great things as well. So Myra, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to take a quick break so we can dig into these empanadas. We'll be right back.
Get the WIS First Alert Weather app today so you'll always know what's coming. Sponsored by the Stanley Law Group.